Where do you see Brenda in 15 years?
You know, Brenda's kind of that girl. I could see her just living in the woods, eating dandelions and pine cones and stuff, just being one with nature.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Brenda, where do you see yourself in 15 years?
Being a successful surgeon in Chautauqua.
Okay.
Did you get that?
Carter, where do you see Miss Wakefield in 15 years?
In 15 years, she will be in a mental hospital. She will be beating up old ladies as we speak.
Thank you, Carter.
Mr. C's, where do you see Jacob in 15 years?
Well, I think Jacob, because of his composure under pressure, and he's just calm and cool all the time, will probably be like an anger management counselor or something, just to help people deal with their issues, especially if things don't go right like the first time, you know, and then you get frustrated right away. He's really got a knack for that. So that's where I see him in 15 years. Anger management counselor.
Mr. Russolo, where do you see Bryce in 15 years?
Bryce Skinner?
Yes.
I will say he's probably working his way up as a throughout the country famous maker of men's high fashion tennis shoes, stores for men's high fashion tennis shoes, and a website for men's high fashion tennis shoes.
Okay, thank you. Bryce, where do you see Russolo in 15 years?
Well, I see him, you know, just chilling on a pontoon somewhere, out in the boonies, living his typical redneck life, you know. James Ringer learned everything from Roos, so I mean, I see him as like an older James Ringer, skinning some squirrels.
All right.
You know.
Thank you, Bryce. Where do you see McKenna George in 15 years?
In 15 years, I see McKenna George climbing a harvester silo with a parachute, jumping off, but not making it out alive. Her parachute catches on the first rung, and she's left a slow, dying death.
Where do you see Connor Bates in 15 years?
I see Connor Bates collecting every soccer ball in the whole world and then taking them to the Grand Canyon and kicking them off the skywalk and filling the Grand Canyon and winning the Guinness Book of World Records for the collection of soccer balls.
Okay, thank you.
So, crazy.
Where do you see Daniel and Nicole in 15 years?
Well, they should probably be happily married. And in 15 years, they'll probably go and visit the school prom and see their son or daughter at the school prom. But yet, Nicole's going to have to convince Daniel. Nicole will say, "Come on, Daniel, we got to go." And Daniel will say, "No, I don't want to. We don't have to go." And Nicole's going to have to convince him to get off the couch and get to that school prom. But he'll be very happy once he finally gets there and can see that his daughter or son are going to have a great time. And Nicole will say, "See, Daniel, wasn't it so much fun?" And Daniel will go, and that's it.
Thank you. Where do you see Pauline in 15 years?
Pauline Kollmar in 15 years will be back living in the United States, visiting Germany at least once a year for a month. But when she's in the States, she will be doing art therapy with kids and yelling, "Ausgezeichnet, ausgezeichnet," every time they come.
Thank you. Where do you see Mr. Massey in 15 years?
Well, in 15 years, I still see him as that guy that's like targeting me in dodgeball, because he was always super good at that.
And that's where Skinner gets it. What is it, hand-eye coordination?
It's a riot.
You're always on the bad team. Here, let's put this on here so I have a target. There, how's that?
Where do you see yourself in 15 years?
In 15 years? You know that episode of SpongeBob
Okay, thank you.
If you were a historian, which when you step into my classroom for World War II, you are a little mini historians, what are five things that you guys would pull out that are...
Where do you see Miss Broker in 15 years?
Melinda Broker, what a gal. She's gonna be a cat lady. She's gonna have like 15 cats at least. She has a dog too, so she might have like 12 dogs. Yeah.
Thank you. Where do you see Miss Gravison in 15 years?
Well, obviously becoming a hermit, living in the woods with like nobody within 30 miles from her. She's gonna have about 15 goats at least and bees everywhere. So basically when the apocalypse comes, she's about to be set.
Okay, thank you. Where do you think Mr. Gunther will be in 15 years?
Probably living on Ironwood right up the street from me still. Doing Gunther things like golfing, blowing things up, chemistry things, being a set. Playing Clash of Clans, that's what he'll be doing in 15 years. Yeah. That's about it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Where do you think Luke will be in 15 years?
Bald.
Michael, where do you see yourself in 15 years?
Well, I'm going to try to pursue a career in being the model of the bathroom symbol. But we're going to change it so it has an afro.
Thank you. Where do you see Erin Haig in 15 years?
Erin Haig has a lot of potential. I see her graduating from the University of Madison, going on to manage Culver's in Rice Lake, owning a lot of cats.
Thank you. Where do you see Mary Heft in 15 years?
Dead.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Where do you see Mr. Lonicom in 15 years?
Well, we've all heard of the soccer mom, but not the soccer dad. You know, socks and sandals, khaki shorts, Baron shirt, tan minivan. That's Mr. Lonicom.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Where do you see Dalton in 15 years?
Well, it's funny that you say that, because it actually is the future, and 15 years has gone by. And last week, Dalton Walther showed up at the high school out of the blue. Here I am about to retire. I'm so excited, and there he is. He comes into the classroom and on Friday Rights Day, and he tells the kids, "Get out of my way, it's my stage." And he goes up there, and instead of reenacting like a Disney movie or something, or a scene, he reenacted the class of 2017's entire 4-year experience of high school. He played every person and everything that happened. It took 16 days, but we couldn't stop watching. It was so amazing. And then he just disappeared as quickly as he'd come.
Okay, thank you.
You're turning around like a strawberry.
So the guy's far behind me, trying to pull me back. They said, "No, I'm not gonna let you go." I said, "Let me go now. I need to take care of this." No, let me go.
Where do you see Justin Isley in 15 years?
I see Justin in Barron High School 15 years from now, not in my class, but running around the hall, jumping over things, having his skateboard down the hallway forever and ever and ever.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Where do you see Carter in 15 years?
I see Carter living in a cave with a beard down to here, hair down to his rear end, crying, wondering what went wrong with Lydia and why she's not there with him.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Where do you see Brandon in 15 years?
Brandon in 15 years, I see him taking over for Bruce, coaching the soccer team, and eating beans. lots and lots of beans as he sings High School Musical.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Carter, where do you see Mr. Thompson in 15 years?
I see him as a homeless janitor.
Okay, thank you, Carter. Where do you see Mr. Lundequam in 15 years?
Well, we've all heard of the size stop.
That was McKenna. I know.
Usually just
Some days
sleep.
it's sunny, sometimes it's rainy. I've never seen it sunny and rainy. Across the street, there's a bunch of nice looking houses. I never actually see people over there. It was funny.
There.